Steve Wozniak, the infamous Woz, co-founder of Apple, was recently in a CNN interview where he was quoted, "If you want a study of AI gone wrong and trying to kill you every chance it can, get a Tesla." Now, Woz is highly respected in the technology space, of course, but I think this quote goes just a little bit too far. Now, I would say I'm not as accomplished as he is, but I am willing to bet I have used Tesla's full self-driving beta far more than he has. So Steve Wozniak has given his opinion on Tesla's AI and self-driving efforts, and I have over 50,000 miles driving it myself, so I want to give my opinions as well. Now, although I've seen this in many headlines and it was kind of the focus of a lot of articles about this interview, I want to say that this comment was actually made in passing. He wasn't singling out Tesla, he wasn't attacking them. It was a question that the interviewers had about his opinion on Elon Musk and some different things.
But can I ask one more before you go, actually? Because one thing we always talk about here is Elon Musk. Do you talk to Elon Musk ever?
I've never actually met him and spoke with him. I admire some things that he's done for the world, changing us towards electric cars, but you know, his real motivations inside, is he really a purist of trying to clean the air and all that, gets shadowed by a lot of other things. And he basically got a lot of money from myself for a car. I believe things he said, that a car would drive itself across the country by the end of 2016. Oh, I had to upgrade to that model, you know, $50,000. And then it wouldn't do anything. I could tell it wouldn't ever make it across the country. And he said, here we have a new one with 8 cameras. It'll make it across the country by the end of 2017. I actually believed those things, and it's not even close to reality. And boy, if you want a study of AI gone wrong and taking a lot of claims and trying to kill you every chance it can, get a Tesla.
And let's be honest, we've all had negative experiences with it. I've even shown those on my own channel here. But if you go back to an interview from a year ago with Steve-O, Steve Wozniak actually has had a lot of problems with his Teslas and said he was going to get rid of it and switch to a Lucid.
It's been 2 months or something trying to get a button replaced. One little button on the steering wheel. This is the worst service of our lives, man. We would never buy another Tesla.
Wow.
But we have an electric car on order, but it's a newer one. 520 miles range. Tesla canceled their car that was going to be like that, and it charges at 350 kilowatt speed. Our Tesla only charges at 140 max, so it'll be much quicker charging on the road. But we can drive all the way to LA in that car and no charge at all. We've driven the Tesla for a long time, lots of long road trips. We've taken at least 8 3,000-mile round trips to Kansas and back, and many to Yellowstone and back, and we've gone up to Canada. We just love driving all the time. During 2020, COVID restrictions, stay at home, we just got in our car. It's an extension of our home, and we drove to every corner of California and back the same day. You know, way up, 10 hours up to Eureka and 10 hours back.
Wow.
The Mendocino Forest, Redwood Forest, never ever forget it. And we went to all the national parks in California and saw the biggest trees in the world and all that, you know. So that was really a great little escape. But the Tesla, when it's navigating, it just makes, if you ever turn on its features, well, anything, actually just cruise control. The number of times we've been on an interstate, we drive 10, 40, 70, and 80 all the time. And then we're on an interstate, and all of a sudden we're going 75 miles an hour, and all of a sudden the car screeches the brakes. The dogs get thrown forward, and it slows down. If there's nobody in the rearview mirror that we have to speed up for, I let it go all the way down, go down 25 miles an hour on an interstate. A Tesla with nothing around, no cars around, no nothing. Sometimes there is a car around. You say that must have been it, but sometimes with nothing around, this is so dangerous. It's happened to us 100 times.
He had some problem with the button in his Model S. I don't know what that was about, but he said Tesla service wasn't really fixing it. And yeah, if you own a Tesla, you know sometimes Tesla service is not the best. They don't always help you out right away, and it can be a struggle to get help from them. So I totally agree with him there. But even in this quick clip, he gets some basic facts about Tesla wrong. He says that Tesla's top charging speed is 140 kilowatts. Now, I'm going to assume based off that comment, he had an older Model S that he was driving around, and maybe that's why it was his max charging speed. But he compares it to a new Lucid Air that gets 350 kilowatt charging, whereas Tesla's top charging speed today is actually 250 kilowatts, and even the older version 2 superchargers go up to 150 kilowatts, not just 140. So to me, it sounds like he went into that question with a little animosity against Tesla already from his past experiences. Tesla has been consistently improving autopilot and full self-driving beta, especially the past few years, so depending on which hardware he's using, say he's using older hardware, it may not work as well as what Tesla is using today. I also don't want to discount the fact that he probably did have negative experiences using autopilot. I have myself, plenty of people had, and again, I've shown them here on this channel, that's no secret. But this comment he made that's getting blasted across headlines is just too dramatic. While of course there have been accidents involving autopilot or full self-driving beta, it's important to realize that most of those actually come down to human error. Tesla says themselves, you're in control at all times. With over 50,000 miles driving on autopilot or full self-driving beta, I racked up 50,000 miles on my Model 3. My Model Y is now over 30,000 miles, and I've done some driving in a couple of other Teslas as well. And in all that time using autopilot and over 50,000 miles on just probably full self-driving beta by itself, I've never had an accident, I've never had a problem, despite, of course, the car sometimes doing some strange things. The thing I really didn't like about this statement is the trying to kill you part. Yes, again, I will say it one more time because people think that I sugarcoat full self-driving beta or autopilot. It does make mistakes, but it has no intent to do anything. It's not trying to harm the driver or anyone around the car. In fact, Tesla recently released their impact report. This shows us how many accidents per million miles happen on autopilot, full self-driving beta, or Teslas that don't have any active safety features activated. Tesla vehicles with autopilot engaged, mostly on the highway, are only having 1.8 accidents every 10 million miles. That's pretty staggering. Now, we actually do see an increase in accidents when you go from autopilot to full self-driving beta, but we know highways usually have less accidents. You can travel many more miles safely on a highway versus in a city or downtown, where there may be more bumps or fender benders or things that count as accidents, even if they're mostly less severe. And then Tesla vehicles not using any active safety features are double this, with 6.8 accidents every 10 million miles. Compared to the total US fleet, you're getting 15.3 accidents every 10 million miles. Again, doubling the number compared to a Tesla with no active safety features. Now, we can be skeptical about this data because it does come directly from Tesla, but we know NHTSA is very picky with Tesla and they are watching them like a hawk. According to data from NHTSA that was obtained by CNBC, the agency is looking into at least 41 crashes involving Tesla vehicles where automated features such as automatic emergency braking or more advanced things such as autopilot or maybe even full self-driving beta were involved. Now, right off the cuff, 41 sounds kind of like a lot to me because I know of a couple, kind of famous Tesla accidents, but that's a lot to not have heard of most of these. But when you look at the accident data in the United States, you're having millions of accidents per year. So for 41 crashes to be being investigated out of millions of crashes that happen per year, it really is not a big deal. Now, I do want to say, I actually think these things should be investigated. It's really important that the government and the public have the data, the truth of what is going on with these accidents when full self-driving beta or automatic emergency braking or just normal autopilot are involved. I drive these cars. My family is in these cars. I want no excuses. I want this stuff as safe as can be. But at the same time, I want to point out, at this point, it is very safe. Statistically, comparing accident data from Tesla and to cars overall in the USA, Teslas are safe whether you're using full self-driving beta or not. These crazy dramatic headlines are just so annoying because Tesla's technology really does have the opportunity to make roads safer. I am convinced that if full self-driving beta or autopilot or any of these things were truly dangerous, number one, we'd see it in the data, it would be obvious. But number two, you'd have NHTSA or some other government agency really on Tesla and they would have removed this stuff already. You've seen NHTSA already flex its muscle on Tesla multiple times with recalls on full self-driving beta, where they've taken away rolling stop signs, they've taken away the car's ability to say go straight through an intersection if it's not in the straight lane, if it's in a turning lane, it now must make that turn. And Tesla very quickly brought those updates to vehicles via over-the-air software updates totally for free to owners, and it made those improvements. So if you actually had a system here, an AI that was trying to kill you, of course it's not, but if it was making all these mistakes and we were having all this tragedy all over the place, it wouldn't be on the road. It wouldn't be in customers' hands today. Another thing these comments can do is really discourage people from adopting or at least being open to the idea of autonomous vehicles, whether from Tesla or any other company. Cruise and Waymo are both doing a great job in their respective geo-locked locations. They actually have driverless taxis where people can hop in the back. There is no driver in the driver's seat, and that autonomous taxi can take them A to B very safely. You'll actually sometimes see these systems make mistakes too. Nothing tragic, but sometimes they steer a little crazy, or there have been news articles where a Cruise has bumped into a bus or something like that. Whether you're looking at actually autonomous systems like Cruise or Waymo, or you're looking at something like full self-driving beta, where the car can technically drive itself, but it's not really autonomous, the systems on the road right now seem to be safe. Steve Wozniak's comments about the dangers of AI are completely valid, especially after Jeffrey Hinton, the so-called godfather of AI, quit Google. And that was kind of the whole reason for this interview. Of course, CNN, with their millions of, used to be millions of viewers. I don't know if they have that many anymore. They need clicks, and so of course they brought up Elon Musk and Tesla because it's a very clickable subject. And Musk actually seems to agree with Wozniak here that we need to be careful about AI. Musk has fought for regulation of AI for a while now, and he has done it recently as well, with chat-gpt and other AI tools becoming increasingly popular. Now, personally, I think he did that a little selfishly and just wanted some time to catch up on AI, but that's a discussion for another video. Many people actually using Full Self-Driving Beta today have different experiences and different opinions on the system. I think a lot of that comes from your expectations of what you're going to get out of it. Because I've been using it for over 2.5 years, I really know what to expect, and even though I do have to do some maneuvers to help it out, I still really love the system, and I use it for easily 95% of my driving. I would say it approaches 99% of the driving that I do is on Full Self-Driving Beta, and I'm easily driving 70 miles a day, usually more than that. People using Tesla insurance can actually see the amount of miles they use on autopilot versus manual driving, and there are people reporting over 95 or 99% usage of Full Self-Driving in their daily driving. So do you really think Tesla's Full Self-Driving Beta AI is actually trying to kill you? No. I don't think so. And I don't think Steve Wozniak thinks that either. But of course, these statements are going to get taken out of context and used in headlines to get clicks. I really respect Steve Wozniak's opinion, and that's actually part of the problem with these things, is when someone like that says something, if you're not knowledgeable about the topic, it can be very easy to just accept that as fact and go, oh man, if they're saying it, it must be true. And if this wasn't something I was deeply knowledgeable on, I may just see that headline or read the article or watch the interview and go, whoa, I'm never getting near one of those cars. Even, I see it on the road and I'm like, hey, I remember what Steve Wozniak said. That guy's a genius. I don't want to get anywhere near that Tesla. Who knows if it's going to try to ram me off the road with its crazy AI or something. And I'm sure I've been a victim of this as well in the past with things that I just don't know as much about. I see someone say something and it just kind of gets in your head and makes you think a certain way. So overall, what do you think about what Steve Wozniak has said about Tesla and autopilot? And do you think he should probably try Full Self-Driving Beta? I don't know, maybe his opinions would be even more stronger after that experience, but you never know. I hope you enjoyed this one. Hit like and get subscribed, and you will see me in the next video.